Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
Today on Headline Highlights, we have a beloved Florida therapist killed by her former patient, a firefighter who allegedly bludgeoned his cheating wife to death,
and a family Thanksgiving ending in homicide. Who was officially charged this week? The mother. Plus, more important quick case updates. This is Headline Highlights. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 17 of Stop Who Does That? Headline highlights for January 20th. We have a great show for you today. On today's episode, we will be covering a Florida therapist killed by her own former patient, a firefighter who bludgeoned his cheating wife to death with an axe, and a mother officially charged with murder after a deadly Thanksgiving family dinner, as well as ending with our favorite segment, as always, Florida Man Google Roulette. I'm Jenna.
I'm Jackie.
And we hope all of our listeners had a great weekend. I know it was very snowy here in the Northeast, Jackie. It was like a blizzarding out there, so we just stayed in, made a lot of food, watched movies, popcorn, snacks, and just hung out.
It was kind of relaxing, except when you have a 7, almost 8-year-old and a 9-year-old going at each other's throats, it can make it really intolerable at times. But I definitely got a lot of reading done, and I'm reading a book by his and hers author, Alice Feeney. It's really good. She's a great author. Definitely encourage you crime junkies to check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we have kept you in suspense long enough. We do have a very special announcement to make for you guys. As you know, we've only been doing this for 2 months, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive. We just joined a network, the Darkcast Network. And then later, the same week that we were asked to join a network, we were personally asked to attend and present a live podcast in front of an audience at the Beyond the Crime convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico this April. We are beyond thrilled for this opportunity and would love for any of our listeners to come out to Albuquerque and support us and join in on the fun. We would love to see you there. It'd be your only opportunity, really, to sit down in front of us and watch us record these episodes in real time. The convention is sponsored by Crystal Gutierrez. She is the host and producer of Beyond the Case podcast, which has a pretty large following on YouTube. And in that, she talks to family members who are missing loved ones or loved ones who were victims of a horrific crime, and the case has either gone cold or they're not getting the answers they need. So what Crystal does is she will provide them with cadaver dogs, private investigators, and private resources to help them get the answers that they need. The proceeds from this convention, Beyond the Crime Convention that she's sponsoring, go to Beyond the Case in order to help her fund those things for victims' families. So all of the proceeds from this convention are going to a wonderful cause. I don't know about you, Jenna, but I'm really happy that the proceeds are going to help and support the families of victims.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so special that she does that. And she's getting just a lot of support from this convention. And I think she's going to raise a lot of money.
Yes. And some of the special attendees that will be speaking at this event are Gabby Petito's mother and stepmother, as well as the defense attorney for John Wayne Gacy. I'm sure there might be more speakers added on as we get closer to the event, but if you're interested in buying tickets, We will be posting on our social media as well as links in this podcast description of the links on where you can get your tickets to this event. And we will be posting discount coupon codes where you can get a discount using our special code that the convention is going to give us shortly. We hope to see you there. We know this is not as big as the main crime con that's happening in Las Vegas this year, but it's a nice close second. What else do they have at this event? Jenna, they're going to have
detectives, they're gonna have lawyers, they're gonna have meet and greets, they're gonna have different speaking engagements with these people, and as well as the live podcast, walk around, just getting to talk to a bunch of different people from the true crime world. It's going to be a great time, and we're really looking forward to it.
talking about going to crime cons forever.
Yeah.
And I think we were even throwing around the idea of going to Las Vegas. And then
Yeah. We'll
this
start
happened.
we'll start here. We'll
We'll
start
start
at
here.
Beyond the Crime, and then we'll work our way up to CrimeCon, and we hope everyone will be following us on the journey. So we're excited
Yep.
about it.
Thank you guys. All right. Well, let's dive into episode.
Okay.
Jenna, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so our first headline highlight is this Florida woman, but this is just a little bit different than our Florida roulette. This is actually a case of a therapist that was murdered by her own patient.
Oh
So
my gosh.
talk about a nightmare. I mean, just horrible. So Rebecca White, she was known as an excellent therapist and a kind person. White worked as a licensed mental health counselor at her own therapy practice called Down to Earth Therapy Solutions in Orlando. She had worked here for many years before her untimely death on January 19th. She was 44 years old. She was finishing up a session with one of her regular clients around 9 p.m. on January 19th when a former client identified as Michael Smith, 39 years old, stopped by the office and demanded to see her while she was already seeing this other client. So she respectfully asked him to leave. He would not leave. So she called 911. Once she called 911 is when Smith, this deranged former patient, attacked and stabbed Rebecca and her patient, Jackie. Man in his 30s. So Rebecca's treating this man in his 30s. They're doing their
They're having
session
a private session.
at her
Yeah.
place of business, and then this guy, White, just comes, banging out, trying to break in out of nowhere. She is able to call 911, but as soon as she does that, he gets in and he just starts stabbing both of them. The man was stabbed over 10 times while trying to protect White, if you can believe that. He actually tried to get on her and protect her while this deranged former patient was going at them. Rebecca White, she did pass away from her injuries. Friends of White described her as someone who was dedicated to her work and community. Her neighbor, Nancy Megenheimer, said she was in shock to learn about White's death. She was so young, and I know she's working with a lot of troubled people, is what the neighbor said. According to a biography on the website, Rebecca White was committed to helping people in a non-judgmental space. She provided individual therapy, couples therapy, and sex therapy services. The sheriff's office did say that Smith identified him as a former client of White's. And White's former coworker, Charlotte McCullough, said some of White's patients were former offenders. So
Wow.
it seems like she was treating patients with a background. So this is something I wonder if I wonder if this ever crossed her mind that something like this could happen.
I'm sure it does. And
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like she had a big heart. She felt like these people deserve to get therapy and work through the trauma that they go through, because a lot of offenders have trauma in their lives. It just goes to show she's genuinely trying to help. And then there are just some people that take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
So
can't.
let me describe to you a little bit about Smith, the man, the deranged former
Yeah.
patient. Like we just said, Rebecca had treated people who were former offenders, or had been in jail before, and Smith was one of those people. He was previously incarcerated for 19 years.
Wow. So he just got out.
Yep. He
Probably.
was convicted of kidnapping, burglary, and 2 counts of sexual battery in June in 2003 in West Palm Beach. And then they go on to describe the incident. He said that during these attacks, Smith held a knife to a woman's neck, telling her he wanted her money. He then ordered her to disable her security alarm and go into her home. The arrest affidavit said from this time. He then bound the woman's wrists and ankles with zip ties, put packaging tape around her face, and raped her for 20 minutes.
Oh my
The woman was able to lock Smith out of her room and escape. She went to the neighbor's house and she told investigators she thought the intruder was the son of a woman who lived in the area. And Smith's DNA matched the evidence obtained from this victim. The conditions of his parole mandate that he have psychological or psychiatric evaluation geared towards someone who has committed a violent and vicious sexual battery and who has a violent antisocial personality disorder.
Yeah.
And the Florida Department of Law Enforcement said Smith had just moved to Orlando in October. So Rebecca was treating him as a very recent time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
because of part of his parole mandate was that he get psychiatric care and evaluation. So once he was released on parole, then he started seeing Rebecca as part of that mandate. So this very recently, he just started seeing her. This wasn't some type of lengthy client-patient relationship that they had for a
Right.
long time. They barely knew each other.
I wonder what triggered him. Was it
Yeah.
because she was peeling back the layers and he couldn't handle that and just wanted to take out his anger on her? I just,
He clearly
yeah,
had several mental disorders.
100%.
So then, after this whole horrific scene of him breaking in, stabbing her, stabbing the patient she was seeing, all of this, deputies finally responded to the area of 9,000 block of Windy Ridge Road around 7:45 a.m. the next morning. So this all took place on the evening of January 19th. And on the morning of January 20th, deputies found Smith dead by apparent suicide. So after all this, he just went and unalived himself. I mean,
We hear there's a lot, these murder suicides, and it's like they just can't go out without taking somebody else with them.
honestly, we see this all the time. Like, you're going to go on this killing spree, and then you're just going to take your own life at the end of it. How about you just reverse that? Spare these people their lives. But we see this all the time. They just want to take others down with them.
Yeah, it's like narcissistic tendencies. It's like, I'm going to blame somebody else for my problems and then bring you down with me.
Yeah.
So it really makes me wonder how we can prevent this, especially for private therapists who work with.
Yes. So, yeah, in kind of leading up what you said about that, her family released a statement saying, this raises a lot of questions about building security, security measures, cameras, and stuff basically about her practice and what would have happened, if she had a more secure building
Practice,
or if there was, or would that have not mattered at all?
Right.
So her family, I'll end with the statement of the family, which they made to Fox 35, saying, we are struggling to understand how this could have happened. There are serious and troubling questions surrounding building access, security measures, surveillance, and how an individual was able to enter the premises during these hours. This tragedy raises concerns about systematic failures that may have contributed to a situation that should have never occurred, and in our view, could have been prevented. Right now, our family is grieving an irreplaceable loss. We are heartbroken, angry, and searching for answers. But above all, we are mourning Rebecca, and I couldn't agree more with them.
Yeah, my initial thought is if you're providing counseling to an ex-offender like that, or, it should be done in a secure location, maybe at a police station or
I Yes,
something
yes.
where, I mean, you want to give these people the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, you don't want to treat them like they're always going to be an offender, but you do have to protect yourself.
You're reading
And
my mind.
yeah,
Or maybe, like, have the parole officer present or something.
yes,
I
like
mean,
somebody needs to be outside the door. I
yes,
don't know, because that way it separates her personal practice
yes,
from this clientele, who could be dangerous, right? That way
yeah,
they never step foot in her private practice, because obviously this guy was going to her private practice, so you knew where she worked, where he could find her. But I'm just saying that needs to be like separated from your main practice. And that raises the question, like, as a healthcare worker myself, that does cross my mind. I mean,
yeah.
patients are going to have my name on things and they could look me up. Actually, I will tell you this, it does prevent a lot of doctors from becoming psychiatrists,
Yeah,
because
I
they're
definitely think
afraid.
there should be
Yeah,
some type of level up where if you are, especially involving a former offender, there should be higher
yeah,
measures of security, and that psychologist should never be meeting with them fully alone. I mean, like you said, even somebody just outside waiting or at the
right.
police station. They just bring in the psychologist to the police station. That's what
Yeah,
I would do.
somewhere that's secure for his appointments, because
Yeah,
again, he knew where her practice was located, and I feel like that just should be separated. And hopefully this leads to more security measures when we're
yeah,
dealing with ex-convicts and
yeah.
people who are violent offenders. I mean, yes, they have a right to getting therapy. I'm all for their therapy, but how do we protect the provider? And also, she's a female too. I mean, would this have
Yeah.
happened if he had a male
And his former crimes were
against women?
sexual battery. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. Who let this, and was she even aware of that? I mean, or were those records?
I'm sure
No,
she had to have.
she had to have been, but like, yeah. So maybe her
Yeah.
family will take this on and they will kind of like lead the way in making it better for psychologists to see former offenders. And,
I will say this, a couple of years back, I worked for a hospital, and I remember our badges used to have our first and last name on them. And then something happened in the emergency department where I guess a patient looked up a nurse on
yeah.
Facebook and started harassing her, or
Wow.
something happened that made her uncomfortable. And then the whole hospital was like giving us these stickers to like blank out our last name, or you could
Yeah.
get a new one with just your
Yeah.
first name on it. Which is great, but then, when you print out discharge paperwork and stuff, it has your name on it. So it's like
Right.
hard. And they have a legal right to know who's providing care for them, because we have to prove we're licensed and things. So it's a
Yep.
really fine line of like protecting ourselves while helping other people. So
Yeah.
you never know what's out there, man.
Okay, well, our next story, we're going from psychologist to firefighter.
We have a firefighter who is from Glendale, California. He has been charged with killing his wife with an axe after apparently finding out she was cheating on him just moments before the gruesome slayings at their North Hollywood home on Wednesday, January 21st, his lawyer said. Attorney Jose Romero confirmed to the Post that he was retained by the family of first responder Andrew Jimenez to represent him in the homicide case. Quote, our office is currently in contact with law enforcement regarding a diary of the decedent, apparently read moments before the homicide, that verified infidelity by the decedent, the lawyer said in his statement. Well, what was her husband doing reading her diary? Andrew Jimenez, age 45, was taken into custody early Wednesday after flagging down Los Angeles Police Department officers and asking them to conduct a welfare check on his wife. During the early morning hours on Wednesday, January 24 a.m., the off-duty firefighter and paramedic walked into the LAPD's Northeast Community Police Station in Glassell Park and requested a welfare check on his wife because he could not reach her, police
I
said.
wonder why.
Well, I had to pause for a second and look up where this police station was in relation to where their address was on Satsuma Avenue. And it is literally 18 minutes. Okay? First off, 4 a.m. I don't know who's going to be awake at 4 a.m. answering the phone. Secondly, bro, just drive home and check on her. Why did you need to stop in at the police station to say, I need some help to check on my wife? Anyway, cops did arrive at the home on Satsuma Avenue in Los Angeles and found his wife dead in a bloody scene, according to Fox 11. Investigators believe she was bludgeoned to death after being repeatedly struck with an axe. Around 4:25 a.m., Jimenez was questioned and eventually confessed to killing his wife, according to law enforcement.
So 25 minutes after he reported.
I guess, yeah, he just tells on himself.
So he wasn't even barely questioned long at all. He
broke down. He broke down very quickly. The requested welfare check in the end apparently did little to convince investigators that the defendant was not to blame. I mean, bro, you could have just called the cops from home and just said, I killed my wife. I mean, don't know what the point of that was.
I think he was like trying to get some type of alibi, but it didn't even matter because he just confessed to it 25 minutes later anyway. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they were like, why did you get up at 4 a.m.? Come to get us to bring us here. And then this is here. What are you trying to tell us? I'm sure they realized, they put it together very quickly. Like, you brought us here to inflict trauma on us, basically, so you could confess. I mean, think about it. They had to walk in and see that.
Yeah.
They just spared them, My God. Anyway, the Los Angeles district attorney had some things to say about this. The domestic violence death of Mayra Jimenez is a devastating reminder of the persistent scourge of intimate partner violence in our community, said Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman. Quote, no one, including those sworn to protect others, is above the law, and we will hold the defendant accountable for this horrific crime and bring justice to Ms. Jimenez and her loved ones. Too often, cases of domestic violence go unreported and have the potential to end as in this instance. So, Jenna, I liked that he is talking about domestic violence because this is clearly domestic. I mean, they lived together. They were married for 10 years. He realizes she was cheating, kills her in this manner. And it's so true. Like, it goes unreported because we as women are afraid. And
right. This could have was most likely going on for many years.
Oh, of course.
The abuse. And like they said, the images on social media paint a different picture. So we see that all the time.
Hugging and seemingly happy, but that happens all the time. We paint a very happy picture on social media, and really it's not that happy. According to the website terrytiesthenotweddings.com, shows that Mayra worked for a nuptials company as an ordained minister and as well as a third grade teacher at Wilshire Park Elementary School in Central Los Angeles. She was described as a caring educator. She was also a union representative for United Teachers Los Angeles. So she was very, very active in her community. Sounds like she loved love and wanted to join people in marriage and holy matrimony.
Yeah, what a nice woman.
And I'm sure she was cheating on him because he was probably really toxic.
Yeah, let's
give the benefit of the doubt here.
I mean, she sounds like a kind and loving woman. I mean, she was a third grade teacher and ordained minister. I mean, what were the reasons she was cheating on him?
I've heard and seen that toxic marriages tend to become more toxic because the more that man hurts you, the more you want to get back at him, the more you want to find an outlet. And, maybe this affair is what gave her some kind of sense of security and normalcy, and maybe it was helping her paint a way out of this situation. It's just sad it had to end like this. So recently her husband was just promoted. I mean, he had things going for him as well. He went from paramedic to firefighter at the Glendale Fire Department in June of 2024. He was working his way up too. And again, him being such a community volunteer and helping others, it probably made her feel like I can't come forward because no one's going to believe me. They're not going to believe that somebody like this could do this to me. Andrew Jimenez is currently being detained at LA County Jail on $2 million bail. That's pretty hefty, Jenna.
Yeah.
And if he's convicted, he will face 26 years to life in state prison.
We say, Jackie, we need to do a whole episode on why people just don't leave.
Yeah.
Like, bro, your wife is cheating. You're obviously, like, your marriage is not doing well. Why don't you guys just, like, part ways? And then everyone can live their separate
Happily
lives.
ever after the end.
It's really simple when you think about it. Just go your
Yeah.
separate ways. But no, they can't do it. They have to end the life of this person because they just don't want anyone else to be with them, and they'd rather spend the rest of their life in prison. It's truly sick.
You know what's sad is that I'm sure you and I, you know, we know how this goes. Like, we've been in relationships in the past that haven't been great. And, you know, I was very lucky to get out of a situation before I met my husband that I knew, like, there were red flags everywhere. And when I was reading about this article, I was looking at red flags of domestic partner violence, and I think he fit like every single one of them. I
Wow.
saw the degrading things they call you, the way they just chip away at your self-esteem. And it's weird because I've heard people make comments all the time. They're like, why don't you just leave? Why don't these women just leave? Unless you've experienced it or had a taste of it in some form or fashion, you don't get it. But they make you feel like no one wants you. And you feel trapped. And like I said, we could do a whole episode on this, but
We could, and if you want us to, we could definitely do a whole episode on surviving narcissistic abuse and domestic violence. So maybe we will get into that too. But yeah, just so unfortunate that it had to end this way, like it does in so
and now
many
we have
cases.
this mother.
So now, talking about going from a kind, loving woman, we are going to an insane, toxic mother. So this story, Jackie, actually happened back in November. If we can go back a few months, if we can all remember Thanksgiving. I know it seems like a year ago, but it was only a couple months ago. This happened on Thanksgiving, and why it's relevant now is because the mother was just arrested on January 16th. This happened in Henderson County, North Carolina. A mother is accused of allegedly killing her daughter by poisoning her daughter's wine on Thanksgiving.
What is this, Cersei Lannister type shit?
As we know,
Thrones, right? Like,
and
wait, no, it was that old lady. She spiked, right? The wine.
So I'm pretty sure everyone's seen Game of Thrones, so we're probably not giving anything away, but there's a couple characters who die throughout the series by a poison wine.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, so this is like some Game of Thrones shit. Pretty much. Okay.
It's also giving Corey Richins fentanyl-laced Moscow Mule.
Yeah.
If you guys have not yet listened to our episode on Corey Richins, definitely you're going to want to check that out because that's a good one, and she does some poisoning of her own, allegedly. So this mother, she is allegedly accused of poisoning the daughter's wine on Thanksgiving. Officials said 52-year-old, I'm going to try my best with her name because it sounds
very German.
European. Yeah. Gudrun Kasper Leinenkühl was arrested on January 16th and charged with 2 counts of each first-degree murder and attempted murder, and 3 counts of distribution of a certain food and beverages that are prohibited. Kasper Leinenkühl allegedly held a 12-person Thanksgiving dinner in November 2025. That is where she allegedly poisoned the wine that her daughter, Lila Levis, another daughter, and the daughter's boyfriend were drinking. So this woman poisoned, allegedly, wine that her own 2 daughters were drinking and the daughter's boyfriend. They all 3 drank from the same bottle, which was poisoned. They all 3 drank from the same bottle, which was poisoned with acetonitrile. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency said acetonitrile is a clear colorless liquid that has many uses, including as a solvent for spinning fibers and in freaking lithium batteries. Okay,
Where did
so
she
this is
even
some
think to
strong
use
shit.
this?
How did she get her hands on this? I don't know. Okay. It's primarily found in the air from automobile exhaust and manufacturing facilities. A short term inhalation exposure results in irritation of the mucous membranes. Long term exposure results in the central nervous system effects such as headaches, numbness, and tremors. Okay, so it has some effects if you're breathing it in on the short term, but these people were like ingesting
Drinking
it
it. Yeah.
at its 100% form.
Yeah, so
So
then it's having the CNS effects. I wonder if they were, like, having seizures and stuff. Wow.
yeah. So Casper Leinenkuhl's search history, as we know, that never gets erased. So they did look up her phone and she searched, quote, what happens if I accidentally ingest acetonitrile? The
I
state
mean, you're
said.
just pointing a nice big red flag to you,
So
like,
you're
with
searching
Google
for
search.
this, and then your daughters are poisoned with the
Yeah.
same thing you're searching for. Hello? Like, why do people do this?
They can't help
So,
themselves. They just can't.
I don't know. I just
Ah.
like everything is traced back to the phone. So after after the Thanksgiving dinner, the three victims started feeling sick, and the daughter actually passed away on December 1st. So I would say that was about a
5 or
week.
6
Let
days later?
Yeah, let's see. November 27th. Thanksgiving was November 27th. One,
Okay.
2, 4 days later. So
Days
4 days
later.
later. And she was the only one that passed.
Wonder how the other ones didn't.
I wonder if like the
Or she drank the most, maybe.
acetonitrile wasn't fully mixed in, and maybe she had either the first pour or the last pour where it was like more concentrated, is what I'm thinking. So get this, Jackie.
Right.
This woman, this mother, Goodner, the Henderson County Sheriff's Office said deputies also found evidence linking her to another death, Michael Schmidt, who died in a house fire in 2007.
Who was that guy to her?
And during the hearing, it was also revealed that Casper Leinenkuhl is tied to additional deaths. This is like the mother, like Game of Thrones, like the mother of dragons. This is like
Yeah.
the mother of deaths.
Yeah. Well, I just looked up acetonitrile toxicity because I'm like, all right, what are the effects on the body? Why did it take so long for her daughter to pass away? It converts. So when you take in chemicals in your body, sometimes your body can break it down and it turns into a different kind of chemical.
Oh.
This actually converts it to cyanide. So
Oh.
acetonitrile can be converted to cyanide in your body. Instead of her poisoning them with cyanide, she got acetonitrile because it probably wouldn't be as detected, right? Because your body,
Yeah.
like,
So she obviously was trying to kill all three of them. There's a suspicious death around Michael Schmidt from 2007, and there are multiple other deaths linked to her currently under investigation. So this woman is going on a murderous rampage, like a spree. I mean, she's just
there's
poisoning
something
and
wrong with her.
allegedly killing people left and right here. So, Casper Leinenkuhl is facing the possibility of the death penalty. She was denied bond, of course, and will appear back in court for a probable cause hearing on none other than Jackie's birthday, February 10th. So, we will definitely be watching updates on this case because I'm really interested to see if they start saying the names of the other people, the other deaths that she's involved in.
Wow. Jenna, I'm sorry, I'm like really interested in this Michael Schmidt. Apparently, so I found an article that said he died in 2007 and they said his cause of death was, quote, acute acetonitrile toxicity. And they think he was huffing.
Oh,
Did it as accidental and then he transferred his property to Casper Leinenkugel in 2006. So he transferred his property to her, and then he died in 2007.
Right. Okay. Yeah. She's.
And he died on the property. So I guess they were friends of some kind or had some kind of relationship, it sounds like. It's not clear, but they must have been close.
It's almost like she got him to sign over the property and then she poisoned him.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to keep an eye on this one. I think there's more.
Yeah.
There's so much more.
This is a fascinating one. So yeah, we'll definitely keep our eye on that. Lots of things happening next month in February. And we also have some other updates. Jackie's going to share some of the cases we've been following, just some real quick updates in case you guys were wondering what's going on.
Yeah, we got quite a few. So let me try to get through these as quickly as possible so we can get to the fun part of our podcast. All right, so Anna Kepner, we are 75 days into her investigation and still have no arrest. As you guys know, Anna was found dead back on November 7th, Jenna's birthday, on a Carnival cruise ship. Her stepbrother has been a main person of interest, but not only have no arrests been made, but we don't have any more information to give you. The only thing we could think is because there's a minor involved, it's just taking a little bit longer for them to make sure they get this right. Yeah, the FBI was asked on January 21st for comment, and they declined to comment. So we will keep you posted on that. Let's go back to our very first episode when we talked about Angie Mock. She's that news anchor charged with killing her elderly mother on Halloween this past year. They did finally get the results of her psych eval, and surprise, surprise, she is incompetent to stand trial. I thought so. I mean,
we called that.
Like, she sounded schizophrenic, and
yes.
It's a sad situation. So this case has been put on hold. On Thursday, January 22nd, Angie Mock appeared in Sedgwick County District Court in Kansas, where Judge Jeffrey Goring ruled she is not mentally fit to proceed. She has been ordered to a state psychiatric hospital for further evaluation and treatment, and the criminal proceedings have been stayed while she undergoes treatment. So I'm so glad to hear that they're doing right by her.
I was really glad to hear that she's in a treatment facility. They got that right, and she'll be getting some treatment, and hopefully they'll move forward when she's well.
Yes. We also have an update on Luigi Mangione, crowd favorite. His trial is now set for September. Jury selection is set to begin September 8th in New York City for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Right now, the judge is weighing whether or not this will be a death penalty case, and that can impact how the rest of the trial schedule plays out. Mangione's lawyers argue that the charges enabling prosecutors to seek the death penalty punishment are technically flawed, and that the government prejudiced Mangione by publicly declaring its intent to prosecute this as a death penalty case before getting an indictment, per NBC4 in New York. Mangione's attorneys maintain that the search of Mangione's backpack in Altoona, PA was unlawful, which we talked about in another episode. The judge is going to rule on whether or not the evidence found in that backpack can be entered into trial by May of this year. So we will keep you posted on further updates. Travis Turner, remember him? Missing Virginia football coach who went missing shortly before a warrant for his arrest came out for child pornography charges. Well, I'm here to tell you he is still missing, or at large, whichever one you prefer. But no, I have not seen any new updates as of yesterday. And then we have the Ashley Buzzard case. This is the Lori Daybell wannabe. She went on a road trip with her daughter, who was found, unfortunately, murdered. She has a status hearing continued from Wednesday, January 21st, due to delays in discovery. It seems like they're waiting on significant forensic evidence to come to light before they can proceed to this preliminary hearing. The case is scheduled to return to court February 11th. What is with everything happening on my birthday week?
I'm so excited for February. I mean, not only is it Jackie's birthday, but there are just so many cases that are going back to court.
Trial, that's my main focus.
Yeah.
Finally, David from our very first episode, D4BD, we do have an arrest, but it's not for what you think. So David's friend Neo Langston, age 23, was arrested in Helena, Montana for failure to appear as a witness before a grand jury in Los Angeles in the homicide investigation of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. At this time, no other arrests have been made in her murder. So, Jenna, what do you make of that? Being arrested for failure to appear? What does that sound like to you?
I think he's hiding something.
Yeah.
And I think that he doesn't want to take the stand against his friend.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't want to talk and he thinks that he could just not appear and it'll just go away. But no, they actually got approval to bring him in from out of state. Joke's on him. Let's see what he has to say in this grand jury testimony.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what.
But I guess they want to make sure they get it right. All right.
Okay.
Cue the music, guy. Today we're going to be doing our Florida Man Google Roulette. You know the drill. Let me pull up Google. Jenna picks a date, and we will see what crazy news story comes up. All right, Jenna, what's the date we're searching for today?
I'm thinking of a day, and I'm thinking of June 21st.
All right. Let's see what
Okay.
comes up.
Oh.
Florida man accused of pulling a gun on a Starbucks drive-thru worker
Oh,
because they
my God.
Where is the story? Here it is. Chief's daughter because of cream cheese. What? All right.
What?
In Miami Gardens, Florida, an angry Florida man pulled a gun on a drive-thru worker because they forgot the cream cheese with his bagel. The employee just happened to be the daughter of the police chief. Police said the man became angry at Starbucks drive-thru when they messed up his order. He returned to the window, screaming at the employee. She asked whether he had paid for the cream cheese, at which point he became enraged and pulled out a gun. Wow. Chief Delma Noel Pratt told CBS 4 that the experience traumatized her 23-year-old daughter. Oh my gosh. The chief's daughter told police the man did not point the gun at her, but that she feared he would hurt her if she didn't give him the cream cheese. Wow.
Give me your cream
that
cheese.
Reeks of mental illness. Yeah.
I bet she'll
he
never
got
forget that
charged
again.
with aggravated assault. Yeah, he got charged with aggravated assault
Yeah,
with a firearm and he was being held in a
that's pretty
$10,000
bad.
bond. I hope this man got help. That's really alarming to me. Why would you do that?
Wow.
There's something wrong with you. Just like people who have road rage incidents. I mean, to be
Yeah,
angry
that's
that
scary.
quickly,
Like,
it's very scary.
over
I wonder
freaking
what
cream cheese?
I know. Can you imagine like what he does to his
Yeah,
girlfriends
if
or
you-
children if he has children?
I hope not. I hope he has none.
Whenever I meet people like that are that prone to anger, I'm just like, I don't even want to know what you're like at home.
What a freak. Ugh.
Total freak.
Well,
All right, well, that was Florida Man for today. It wasn't the most juiciest, but still
No.
scandalous.
and who doesn't like a bagel with cream cheese? I mean, they're just the best.
It's just not a bagel without the cream cheese.
No, this is making me hungry.
All right, girl. Well, that's it for today. We will be recording a deep dive this week coming up. Don't forget, our Ellen Greenberg case is on Patreon for early access. Be sure to subscribe over there. We will be utilizing more of Patreon as time goes on. And we hope to see you at the Crime Con in New Mexico.
Yay. Please come out and support us.
Yes, please. It would be so embarrassing to have like 2 people in the audience while we're recording. Question is, should we do headline highlights or do a deep dive?
Yeah, give us your feedback on that.
What should we do at this convention?
Because we could do. We're feeling both. It could go either way.
Absolutely.
All
right, guys.
Well, have a good
Take
week.
care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.